Hey everyone, we all know how frustrating it can be to be counterpicked in top lane. Some of the matchups can feel completely unplayable. But the thing is, in low elo, matchups are not played even close to properly as the players are missing so many fundamentals of the game. Basically, matchups don't matter at all in low elo. To show what I mean, we're going to break down a few games of traditional counterpicks and show you how they are played in low elo and high elo so you can see the difference. And in one of the games, it's going to be of my own point of view while smurfing in gold, where I smash a counterpick extremely hard using game fundamentals. So with that being said, let's jump into our first matchup. For our first low elo game, we're in Plat 4 with a Renekton vs Riven. This is a very traditional matchup, with Renekton being very hard to beat for Riven players. The matchup only got harder for Riven when Riot buffed Renekton's W to destroy shields as well. Let's see how this game goes. So right off the bat, we have a huge issue with this lane. But I'm not going to tell you what it is just yet. Let's test your game knowledge. Someone is making a big mistake in these 10 or so seconds. Who is it, and what is the mistake? Riven is misplaying the level 1 extremely hard here. Riven's level 1 is a lot stronger than Renekton's because Riven can cancel her autos with her Q. Basically, she has a huge extended trade advantage. On top of this, Renekton is very weak without Fury, so if she goes in at level 1, Renekton can't even use an empowered Q. But by playing back and doing nothing, Renekton can freely auto attack and get Fury. This also means Renekton will be pushing and will hit level 2 first. If Riven doesn't respect that, she can easily lose the matchup here. But let's keep going. Renekton hits Riven with Q and collects his first 3 CS. Then when Riven walks up for her own last hits, she tries to trade back with Renekton a little, but it's too late. Renekton has way more minions, so she should just grab her CS safely and avoid trading. Then Renekton gets enough Fury for his empowered Q because of Riven's misplayed level 1, and he hits Riven with it when she goes for this minion, healing a lot and poking her some more. At this point, Riven's first wave is cleared, so Renekton is pretty much guaranteed to get level 2 first. Riven should just stand back and let the wave crash and play for the rebound wave. It will slow push back to Renekton and Riven will hit level 4 first. But something fascinating is about to happen that we see in low elo all the time. First, let's watch what happens, then we'll break it down. So who griefed here? Someone made a big misplay. The truth is, they both griefed this. Renekton is 1 minion from level 2, so Riven should never go to trade here. Renekton trolled by not punishing it. He should have just killed that 1 minion and killed Riven for jumping in when he was that close to level 2. Another thing I want you to see here though is how much more damage Riven does at level 1 with her Q auto Q auto Q auto combo. She was trading into the enemy minion wave and still won it very hard. But like I said before, it's way too late to be looking for that. Anyways, after that, Renekton hits level 2, dashes in and hits Riven with Q and clears the minion wave. Then as the wave is cleared, Riven actually walks up like this and Renekton backs off. Another extremely troll play that happens in low elo very often because it goes unpunished. Riven can't trade at all with Renekton. She's a level down and he has 7 minions here to back him up. Renekton should be taking this trade every time, but just walks away and doesn't punish. Riven was trying to tank the minion wave and maybe freeze, I'm not sure, but it's extremely troll as she takes a bunch of free damage. But Renekton notices it and goes to cut her off, getting even more health from her. What happens next is going to be a direct result of how Riven played the early levels. Renekton is going to go into his own jungle and kill the enemy Yi invading. Now, in League, you have to understand how to break down your gameplay so you know how to improve. You don't want to have results-based review, which is basically only thinking something is wrong based off of what happens. You want to be looking at actual issues and then see the result of it. So here, Riven should be trading at level 1 and have control of the wave. Then, she would be the one pushing and crashing the 3rd wave on the tower. Riven would then be the one going into the enemy jungle and assisting her jungler, while Renekton has to catch the big wave on the tower. This should happen regardless of what the Yi does or what has happened in this game. But because Riven didn't play the matchup properly, she paid in lane with a lot of health and paid in terms of lane priority as she couldn't leave her lane here. Anyways, as Renekton gets back to lane, we can see how Riven is level 3 now. This is what I was talking about earlier. After messing up her lane, she should slow push and play for the rebound wave where she gets level advantage. And then she actually hits level 4 here after killing the minion. And if we pause, think about this. In what world should Riven be clicking backwards at all here? She's level 4 to a level 2 Renekton, and she has a huge wave with her. She should be punishing Renekton for taking this greedy route back to lane. The double buffs don't matter at all. And now we're going to see the result of that huge mistake she just made. She should have forced Renekton to let the wave crash with her level 2 lead, then she could reset. But she let Renekton hold it so the wave doesn't crash. He holds the freeze for a little until Riven tries to come back and break it, but now he has healed up from red buff and he's level 3 with a full Fury bar. So now Renekton is going to all in using his Fury and red buff, and he gets another kill from cutting her off and Nocturne showing up to assist. Alright, so you can see how nothing that happened here had anything to do with the matchup. Both players made extremely fundamental errors, but Riven made more of them. She actually didn't make a single correct play here. But before we move on to the high elo VOD of this matchup, I'm going to cover all the bases. I do not want to see stupid comments saying these things. I know this is Plat, but that Riven is trash and she's not playing like a Plat player. Yes, she is, and the blatant truth is, you're making equally trash mistakes every single game you play. Next one, this is just jungle diff. If you think that and didn't actually learn from what I just taught you, then good luck climbing. And lastly, this must be NA plat because EUS plat is much better. It's actually not either of those, but it's irrelevant anyway, as EUS and NA plat are exactly the same. It's high elo that's different between the servers. Now let's get started here with the high elo replay of the matchup. In EUS Masters, I want you to notice right off the bat how different level 1 is. You can see that both players know how this will go if they scrap at level 1. Renekton is showing a lot of respect, not walking up at all, and Riven is postured very aggressively, knowing if Renekton walks up too far, she can jump in and win the trade. What is this going to do? Exactly what we talked about earlier. Give control of the lane to Riven this time for the first 3 waves at least, because she will have the push advantage. Renekton can't walk up to the wave without being punished, so he has to let this happen. Now that is matchup knowledge. Those are the kind of things that determine who wins a matchup. But like I said, this is a Renekton favor matchup and we'll see why very soon. Basically, matchup knowledge is something where one champion can't prevent what's going to happen. Renekton can't prevent Riven from having level 1 advantage here, and he has to give up control of the wave. But anyways, with Riven's Q being down, Renekton will quickly walk up and grab a few CS, then back off again while Riven zones him away. When Riven uses Q again, Renekton takes the time to walk up and use his Q and try to build up some fury before Riven Q comes up again. As soon as Riven hits level 2, she jumps in and pops Renekton's bone plating, and he turns the trade back with the fury he got earlier, knowing Riven used all of her Qs to gap close. Now Renekton will let the wave crash, which is what the Riven should have done earlier, but if you remember, she was just tanking the wave for no reason. Riven is going to brute force her way to level 3 though, by using her Q on CS, which I believe is a huge misplay, but it started before this and is kind of pointless for this video to go over it. But a quick rundown is basically, she needed to crash the 3rd wave and not the 2nd wave. That would give her level 3 and not a bad wave state like it is now. But anyways, we can 2x speed until here, since they don't trade at all, but a river fight is happening. Renekton flashes in and they kill the Volibear. Renekton doesn't get the kill though, so it's fine for Riven at this point. They both head back to lane, and Riven gets a cute little trade in here where Renekton couldn't trade back because of cooldowns. But now we're about to see why this matchup is Renekton favored. Riven decides to get aggressive here and dashes in, but Renekton uses his 50 Fury W to drop the shield entirely, chunk her hard, and disengage. This was a beautiful trade, but the wave is slow pushing to Riven at this point, so she could just back off and recall here. She decided not to though, which lets Renekton auto some minions for level 4 and build up Fury again. Riven tries to engage knowing her abilities have lower cooldowns, so Renekton E would be down, but because he's level 4, he would have killed her here even without the Lee Sin. He just has too much burst. Renekton outbursts Riven in almost any trade, so she has to play for an extended fight using her Q resets and Renekton's long cooldowns. So you can see how different this was compared to the low elo Renekton vs Riven. This was much more matchup oriented, and the biggest fundamental error Riven made was crashing the 2nd wave instead of the 3rd. Alright, for this next game, we're using one of my own VODs where I'm playing Irelia vs Jax. Another matchup where it's pretty well known that Jax can be difficult to beat for Irelia, but I'm going to use simple fundamentals to beat the Jax easily. Before laning starts though, I have to leash. I make sure not to leash too long because my level 1 is strong and I don't want to give control of the lane to Jax. Now, just like the Riven vs Renekton matchup, even though Irelia loses generally, she wins level 1 if her passive is stacked. If not, Jax wins with Counter-Strike. So I want to stack on my passive, but don't want to spam too much since I have a Doran's Blade and not a Corrupting Pot. I don't use Q for these early ones and just auto them while I wait for the next wave to get here. But then as Jax walks up to hit my range minions, I use my Q to grab this backline CS, walk away from him, and prepare to use my Q on that other ranged one, but notice Jax is standing near it, so I just walk away. Then when he approaches me, I use Q to that next minion to get another passive stack and keep kiting him. He makes a big mistake here and he used his E too early. Now, I say this in most videos, but in low elo, in 99% of games, I win lane in the first 3 levels. This is why. You guys make crucial errors every time and a high elo player will punish it every time. So Jax just made his first big mistake and now I will punish accordingly. With Jax E being down, I know I'm free to hit minions and keep stacking my passive and quickly hit level 2 first. Then, because I'm a scrub, I miss my E, but it's also because I can't even remember the last time I played this champion. Either way, I miss E, so I can't punish here. I could actually kill him here, but I keep stacking my passive. He hits level 2 now and gets aggressive, but I basically ignore him and use autos and Q to stack up my passive fully. Jax uses E to try and stun, so I just Q away to a minion, which doesn't reset my Q, but it dodges Jax's important ability. So now if we trade autos, I win very hard. We do exactly that after he jumps on me, and with those autos, it keeps my passive up long enough for my stun to come off cooldown. I quickly land a stun and auto him, then as soon as Q comes up, jump to him and finish him with autos, saving my last Q in case he flashes. So the mistakes he made were fundamental errors, just like with the Riven and Plat from earlier. He used E too early, which let me at level 2 first. He didn't respect my level 2 spike, which should have gotten killed earlier than this. But then I had the push advantage. He walked up to grab a last hit, not knowing my E cooldown. Just mistakes everywhere. He was trading auto attacks with me when my passive was up. You get the point. And if you think that one kill wasn't enough to say the lane is over, I end up killing him multiple more times, many of them even under tower because of how hard I snowball. But as you can see guys, matchups in low elo are irrelevant. It's always fundamental errors that will be the reason why you lose a lane. So don't focus too hard on matchups and just get the fundamentals down. Then you'll see how many more matchups you can win.
Alright guys, before we wrap this up, let's tell you a little more about SkillCapped. So we offer a 5-division rank up guarantee and think that's a pretty crazy thing to offer. It's like a gym membership guaranteeing you'll get ripped. Your local gym would go bust if they offered that, right? Not us. We've offered this for years because our service really does work. It works so well, in fact, that we're able to produce by far the largest catalog of premium league guides on the internet. We add over 20 videos a week with over 1,600 guides curated into over 100 courses no one can compare. We've also sent challenger players into ELO hell 629 times and counting, where they commentate on how to carry live. They also respond to all questions asked. Sign up today for as little as $4.99 a month if you're serious about improving.
But that's going to bring us to the end of this video. We hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.